Today's journey weaves through the haunted serenity of a historic Chinese cemetery and the sharp satirical edges of Bangkok's contemporary art scene, and finding peace in the city's complex layers. My day began with a walk from the hotel to Teochew Cemetary Park, historically known as Wat Dong. While it looked inviting on Google Maps, the reality of the skyline peeking over traditional Chinese pavilions and arched bridges was surreal. Once a place shrouded in local ghost lore and avoided after dark, this former burial ground for Bangkok's Teochew community was transformed in the late 1990s into the beautiful cemetery project. As I walked through the cemetery itself, I appreciated how life and death coexist in a striking juxtaposition. I watched expats and locals go for morning runs and practice boxing against the backdrop of haunting echoes from elderly locals singing karaoke tucked by a flower bush. I journaled near the graves, noticing the Tudiye, deity of the earth, stones at the end of each row, the traditional guardian spirits honored to protect the soil and the peace of the deceased. There's a raw, unkempt beauty that felt evocative enough for a horror film, yet it possessed the harmony of spirit I've only seen in places like Mexico or the Cook Islands or Samoa. Look at this beautiful entrance. In the afternoon, I navigated the noisy pulse of Ceylon to reach the Kathmandu photo gallery, housed in the beautifully restored pre-war shop house. Right around the corner from the colorful Sri Mariamman temple, the space is a visual feast. Vibrant teal walls and black and white checkered floors filled with books and art. I spent a long time at the wooden table just reading books. Blur. This photographer who does photography with tactical blur. I love the gallery owner Manet's master collection, featuring monk portraits created with tactical blurring. This work comments on the commercialization of Thai Buddhism and the cult of personality that has evolved since the era of King Mongkut. By deliberately blurring the faces of the monks, Manet strips away their individual status, returning the focus to the anonymous nature of spiritual mastery. Manet and his wife, the filmmaker Ing, named the gallery Kathmandu in memory of a small, charming photo gallery Ing had visited in the Nepalese capital back in the 1980s. They wanted to capture the specific old world vibe, a place that feels less like a sterile modern art space and more like a traditional neighborhood photographer shops of the past. So the gallery is designed for visitors to sift through prints and books at large wooden tables, much like one would have done in an old studio in Kathmandu or Bangkok decades ago. Talk about gemology. Look at this building. This is only for jewelry. Look how tall it is. I have to look up straight, like I'm looking up straight completely, just to see to the top. That's insanely tall. Dedicated to jewels. This is my favorite street because this is where I lived, and this is where I still come to every day for food, for fruits. I love this street so much. And to cross the road, you just cross. Don't even think, just cross. I bought myself a little bouquet of flowers for my room and finished the day at Yanawa Pier again, watching the sunset by the water while reading How I Became a Terrorist, with the Chaparaya and an apricot sky in the backdrop. Sunset already, I missed it again. People come pay some money and then get a bucket of stuff to feed the fish. That's why there's always hundreds of fish. Look at them go. When I was staying at the State Tower, that's the view I have. I look at the sunset through the reflection because I couldn't see the river. Then I went to my favorite shopping mall, Central World, to get a feed and stock up on some daily supplies because I'll be here for another week or more. And because they have a shelf for Australian, Dutch, Italian, French, American, they also have one for Kiwis. So for those who miss home but live here, they can get Pix peanut butter. I don't miss it when I'm gone. Biltong, I will get the biltong jerky. They're really good if you haven't tried them. I had them when I was in Hongxiangong last year. Product of Thailand. Japanese selection. I didn't quite like that one. I had this the other day. It's too sweet. Promo shell for the one I had yesterday. And there is a ume one. Oh my god, I'm gonna get that one. You may know me as someone that doesn't drink alcohol, but I do drink soju and sake. Mostly umeshu. I'm gonna get the ume one for sure. No wonder they're cheap. They're products of Thailand. Rice one. I love this brand.